It's a quiet evening in Atlanta, Georgia, the kind of quiet that hums, soft, alive, almost sacred. The park glows gold under a sinking sun, light dripping through the oak trees like honey. You can hear everything, the laughter of kids chasing each other near the fountain, the low rhythm of jazz coming from a distant speaker, the world taking one long, peaceful breath. On a wooden bench near the basketball court sits a boy, 16, calm, still, dressed in a neat black school blazer and polished shoes that catch the light. His backpack rests beside him, zipped and organized. His name is Malik Carter. He's waiting. Not scrolling, not talking, just watching the field. His little brother is finishing soccer practice, his small frame running hard across the green under the whistle of the coach. Malik's eyes stay on him the way only an older brother's could, quiet pride mixed with responsibility. But peace like this doesn't last long in stories like his, because in the distance a low rumble begins, faint at first, like a storm too far away to fear. But it grows louder, closer, the kind of sound that makes birds scatter and heads turn. The noise hits first, a sudden eruption of engines tearing through the quiet park. Parents glance up from benches, kids stop mid-run, birds scatter from the trees. 5 bikes, all chrome and noise, carve their way down the path like they own it. You can feel the arrogance before you even see their faces. 5 motorcycles tear through the park gates, engines growling, chrome flashing beneath the dying sun. The moment they enter, the park changes. The laughter fades. The music dies down. Even the wind seems to hold its breath. The bikers, all men, rough-looking, early 30s, skin sunburned and cracked, move like they own the ground beneath them. Their jackets glint with patches that mean nothing but scream everything. They aren't here to ride, they're here to be seen. They stop near the benches, too close to Malik. One of them spits on the ground, another laughs too loudly, and the leader, tall, broad, with a sneer shaped by years of small power, spots Malik, alone, still, out of place in his quiet black suit. He nudges his friend and says something under his breath. They all laugh. And right then, Malik feels it, the weight of attention turning sharp, hostile, uninvited. But he doesn't flinch. He just breathes in, eyes lowering slightly, not in fear, but focus. His father used to tell him, stillness is your armor. Never move until you mean it. The bikers park their engines right in front of the bench. The noise echoes like thunder trapped in metal. Malik stays seated. One of them steps off his bike and walks over, boots thudding against the pavement. His shadow stretches long across the boy's shoes. You look lost, kid. You sure you belong here? What's this? Some fancy little schoolboy waiting for mommy to pick him up? The words are dipped in arrogance, lazy but cruel. The others chuckle from their seats, the sound jagged, ugly. Malik glances up, his voice steady. Just waiting for someone. Oh yeah? The man smirks. What are you waiting for, a ride back to private school? Laughter again, but Malik doesn't respond. He just looks past them back to the field where his little brother is laughing, unaware of what's happening. And maybe that's what stings them. The way he refuses to play the game. The way he won't react. Some people can't stand peace because it reminds them of what they'll never have. The leader leans in closer, eyes scanning the boy's face. He's expecting fear, but all he finds is silence. And something else, control. It irritates him. He grabs Malik's backpack from the bench and tosses it on the ground. You gonna pick that up, or you waiting for your butler to do it? The crowd nearby pretends not to notice. A mother looks away. A jogger slows down but keeps running. That's how it always happens. Racism doesn't need a stage, it survives in small silences. Malik exhales slowly. He looks at the bag, then back up at the man. You done? The biker blinks. Because no one's ever asked him that before. Not like that. Not calm, just certain. But the silence that follows is sharp enough to cut. And right before things can escalate, a familiar whistle blows from the soccer field. Practice is over. At the far end of the field, a small boy stands frozen. Malik's little brother, Noah, clutching his soccer ball, eyes wide. He wants to shout, wants to run, but his legs won't move. For a moment, Malik's mask softens. He waves back faintly, and in that brief flicker of innocence, you can see the war inside him, wanting to protect that child's peace, but knowing the world outside this park doesn't play fair. The bikers notice the kid too. The leader grins. Didn't know you had an audience, boy. Better make it worth the show. The others laugh again, circling their bikes closer. Engines revving, tires spinning. This was the moment they mistook kindness for weakness, and it would cost them everything. Malik stands slowly, brushing invisible dust off his sleeve. No threat in his posture, no anger in his face, just the same composure that's been there since the beginning. He looks at the men, 5 against 1, and then down at his little brother, who's stopped halfway, frozen by fear. Their eyes meet, and Malik gives a small nod. That nod says everything. Stay back. I've got this. If stories like this remind you that silence isn't weakness, that discipline can still win in a loud world, then hit subscribe. Because here we tell the stories that move quietly, but hit hard. Malik's fingers tighten slightly. The bikers rev again. His brother's small voice calls out from behind him, trembling. Malik? The leader laughs. What, you going to show off for the kid? But Malik doesn't answer. He's measuring the distance, the ground, the air between breath and movement. The park holds its breath again, that same stillness from the beginning returning, heavy this time, charged, because something's about to shift. And when it does, nobody in that park will forget it. They came to break him. They didn't know he was built for storms, because Malik still isn't giving them what they want. No anger, no fear, just silence. And silence in the right hands can feel like power. Rick grabs Malik by the blazer collar. I'm talking to you! Parents glance away. One woman reaches for her phone, then hesitates. The air feels too heavy to cut through. Rick laughs again, but it sounds less sure now. Yeah, I'm done. Done watching some spoiled kid act like he's above us. He gives Malik a shove. Malik barely moves. A sound cuts through, not loud, but enough to turn heads. Noah's voice, small, shaky. Leave him alone. Rick glances at the boy and sneers. Ain't your turn yet, kid. That's when something shifts. Malik's head turns, slow, deliberate, and his eyes lock onto his brother's. It's not panic, it's reassurance. The kind that says, I've got this. He straightens his blazer, takes one step forward. The bikers tighten their circle, expecting panic. Instead, they find calm, too calm. Rick chuckles nervously. What, you going to preach at us? You going to beg? No, Malik says. I was waiting for you to finish embarrassing yourself. The words hang heavy in the air. If you're watching this right now, make sure you hit subscribe, because what happens next? You won't believe how fast tables can turn when silence finally decides to move. Rick's smirk fades. He gestures toward his crew. Teach him a lesson. The first biker steps forward, broad shoulders, fists clenched. He shoves Malik hard in the chest. Malik stumbles a step but doesn't fall, doesn't react. Then another shove, harder. Malik's jaw tightens, but his eyes, they don't change. You think you're tough, boy? No response, only breathing, focused, controlled. Rick snickers, looking back at the crowd. See this? This is what happens when they forget their place. But what Rick doesn't know, what nobody there knows, is who Malik really is. His father, Major Aaron Carter, a Marine who taught his sons not just how to fight, but when not to. A man who believed strength meant grace under pressure, and right now his son is practicing that lesson, in real time. The circle tightens. Someone from the crowd finally yells, "Hey, leave that kid alone!" But the bikers are too far gone. Rick grins and raises his arm like he's about to throw the first punch. Noah cries out again, "Malik!" The world goes silent for a second. That's how the body feels before the storm hits. Still, focused, ready. Malik exhales once, just once. Every muscle in his body aligns, years of quiet training, repetition, discipline. Rick steps closer, laughter breaking into a growl. Come on, schoolboy, show us what you got. The camera holds on Malik's face, steady, unflinching. He doesn't rise to the taunt. He's past that now. Because when you've been taught by warriors, you don't perform for fools. You protect peace until you have no choice. And right now, the choice is being made for him. What happens next will silence the entire park. As Rick's fist starts to rise, Malik shifts his weight slightly, a subtle stance change that most won't even notice. But to trained eyes, it's the beginning of precision. The first blow doesn't land, because Malik moves first, not out of anger but instinct. The punch never lands. Rick's arm swings wide, reckless, but Malik isn't there anymore. He steps aside, fluid, effortless, not flinching, flowing. His hand catches Rick's wrist midair, twists slightly, and before the biker knows it, his knees hit the ground. It happens so fast, the crowd gasps before their minds even register what they've seen. Silence spreads. That kind of silence that feels electric, like the moment before lightning strikes. Rick grunts, clutching his wrist, trying to understand what just happened. His men freeze for a split second, confused. Then anger takes over. "Get him!" one yells. Two bikers rush forward, big, loud, all force, no discipline. Malik pivots on his heel, dodges the first strike and sweeps the second biker's leg with surgical precision. He hits the ground hard, groaning. The next one charges, swinging wildly. Malik ducks under the swing, uses the man's momentum against him, and with one clean motion pins him down by the shoulder. The crowd can't believe it. Parents who couldn't even move a minute ago are now on their feet, whispering. Because the quiet boy in the black blazer just dismantled 3 grown men in less than 20 seconds, and he still hasn't thrown a single punch. Who is he? Rick staggers to his feet, breathing heavy, wrist throbbing. He spits on the ground, humiliated. "You think you're some kind of tough guy?" Malik doesn't answer. He simply adjusts his blazer, keeping his eyes calm, level. And that calm drives Rick mad. He charges again. This time his rage blinds him. Malik sidesteps, hooks his foot behind Rick's ankle and guides him to the ground face first. It's not an attack. It's control, the kind you only learn from years of discipline. And right there, under the fading sun, the power dynamic flips. Because now the bullies realize, this isn't a boy. This is training. This is precision. And for the first time, they're scared. The 2 remaining bikers glance at each other, hesitation flickering in their eyes. One mutters, "Yo, this kid's a freaking machine." The crowd starts filming. Phones are out. The tension's gone public now. But Malik doesn't bask in it. He just stands still again, breathing steady, hands low, posture straight, like he's in class, not combat. "I told you," Malik says quietly. "I was waiting for you to finish embarrassing yourselves." One of the bikers, the youngest, hesitates, his eyes softening. He takes a half step back, unsure. But Rick's pride won't let it end. He snarls, voice cracking with hate. "You think this is over?" "It was over the moment you started," Malik says. The line hits hard, not shouted, not acted, just truth. Rick lunges again, wild and furious. Malik blocks, redirects, and suddenly Rick's on his knees again, this time face to face with the boy he thought was weak. And for a heartbeat you can see fear flicker behind the rage. Because deep down every bully fears exposure. Malik doesn't hit him. He just looks down at him, quiet, firm, unshaken. The park is dead silent now. Only Noah's small voice cuts through. "Malik, are you okay?" Malik turns his head, his face softening at the sound. He nods, just once. Rick sees that moment, that pause, and makes one last mistake. He lunges again, desperate. Malik moves like water. A sidestep, a shift of balance, and Rick finds himself flat on his back, breath knocked out, staring up at the darkening sky. Malik steps back, lets him breathe. Don't touch him again. Because this was never about violence. It was about control. If you're watching this right now, make sure you subscribe. Stories like this, they remind us what real strength looks like. Not loud, not angry, just unshakable. Rick's men rush to help him up, but none of them meet Malik's eyes. The same mouths that spat slurs minutes ago can't find words now. The same hands that reached for power now shake with confusion. Malik doesn't smirk, doesn't gloat. He just kneels, gathers his scattered books, the ones they kicked earlier, and brushes the dirt off one page. It's a drawing of a marine emblem. Underneath it, discipline is freedom. The message hits harder now, because you realize who trained him, his late father. The Marine who taught him that peace isn't passive, it's power with purpose. Malik closes the notebook, stands and meets Rick's eyes one last time. "You thought strength was about shouting. My father taught me it's about silence that can end shouting." Rick looks away. He can't hold the gaze. The boy runs to him, eyes wide with pride and relief. "You didn't even hit them," Noah says, amazed. "Didn't need to," Malik replies. And that's when it hits everyone watching. The parents, the kids, the crowd with phones out. They weren't watching a fight. They were witnessing a lesson. A man's voice calls out from behind the crowd, "Hey kid, you okay?" Malik nods. His voice was calm again. "I'm fine, just tired of people mistaking calm for weakness." The man steps closer, hesitant. "Where'd you learn to move like that?" Malik looks toward the sunset, the same golden light his father used to sit under on long evenings after service. From someone who fought wars so I wouldn't have to. And with that, the park exhales. The fear that once filled the air now shifts to awe. Parents whisper again, not out of fear this time, but respect. Malik puts an arm around Noah's shoulder and guides him toward the exit. The crowd parts for them like water, but just as they walk away, the sirens come slow, like the sound knows it's late to the truth. Blue lights flicker across the park, painting faces in guilt and awe. Parents who said nothing now rush forward, talking all at once. Phone records, voices rise. Everyone has a version of what they saw. Everyone. Except Malik. He's still. Breathing. Centered. The calmest person in the chaos. Because when you've already fought the hardest battles inside yourself, nothing outside can shake you. The officers step out, one white, one black. They approach cautiously, eyes scanning the scene. The bikers are standing now, bruised in pride more than body. Their leader, Rick, avoids eye contact. He's trembling, his earlier bravado burned out by reality. "What happened here?" the black officer asks. Before anyone can speak, a woman from the crowd blurts out, "It was them! They jumped that kid!" Another parent adds, "He didn't even fight back, just defended himself. You should have seen it, calm as stone." Phones start replaying clips, shaky footage, gasps, Malik moving like water. The officers watch, nodding slowly. Rick tries to speak. His voice cracks. He attacked us!" The officer doesn't even glance his way. That's not what this video shows. For the first time all evening, Rick looks small, like the kind of man who's finally seeing himself for what he is, a bully without an audience. Malik steps forward, his voice steady but respectful. "Officers, I didn't want trouble. I was just waiting for my brother." The white officer studies him, confused. "You're saying you took down 5 grown men without throwing a punch?" "My father was a Marine," Malik says quietly. "He taught me control." That word, control, hangs in the air like gospel. The officers exchange glances, then turn toward the bikers. "You boys might want to start explaining why you came into a park harassing a kid." Rick opens his mouth, but nothing comes out. Because how do you explain hate when it just costs you your pride? One of his men mutters, "We just wanted to mess with him. We didn't mean..." "Didn't mean to what?" The officer cuts in sharply. "Didn't mean to get humbled." The crowd murmurs in agreement. Malik's little brother, Noah, clings to his side. "Can we go home now?" he asks softly. Malik nods, places a hand on his shoulder. "Yeah, we're going home." But before they leave, the officer stops him. "You handled yourself like a man, son. Most adults wouldn't have kept their composure like that." Malik nods once. "My dad always said, if you lose your peace, you already lost the fight." If you're watching this right now, hit subscribe, because stories like this remind us that strength isn't about force. It's about grace when the world gives you every reason to snap. Rick and his men are taken aside, still silent. The crowd begins to thin, whispers fading into the hum of police radios. As Malik and Noah walk away, the younger brother looks up at him. "Weren't you scared?" Malik smiles faintly. "Of course I was, but fear doesn't control me. I control it." That line, that quiet truth, echoes like a sermon, because deep down everyone watching knows it. The most dangerous kind of power is calm power. Later that night, the story hits social media. Clips of the fight flood timelines. Teen defends himself with martial arts mastery. Atlanta kid humiliates racist bikers. But the headlines miss the real story, because what people talk about most isn't Malik's moves. It's his discipline. No cursing, no rage, no gloating. Just silence, the kind that speaks louder than fists ever could. By midnight, the footage has over 1 million views. Comment sections fill with strangers writing things like, "This kid is everything his father raised him to be." Black excellence, controlled power, respect. Even the local news runs it, calling it the park lesson. But Malik doesn't care about the headlines. He's at home, sitting on his porch, the night cool against his skin. Noah's asleep inside. Their mother watches from the doorway, quiet pride in her eyes. "Your father would have been proud," she says softly. Malik doesn't respond right away. He just looks up at the stars. The same ones his dad used to point out during training sessions in the backyard. He used to say the stars are reminders, Malik murmurs, that even in the dark, light doesn't lose itself. And right there, under those stars, you realize this was never about a fight in the park. It was about a boy carrying the discipline of a man who taught him peace through pain. The next day, something unexpected happens. The youngest biker shows up at Malik's school gates. No jacket this time, no arrogance, just guilt. He walks up, hesitant. "Hey, I wanted to say sorry. What we did, it was wrong." Malik studies him, then nods. "You learned something?" The man swallows hard. "Yeah, that strength doesn't look how I thought it did." Malik extends a hand. "Then you're already stronger than yesterday." They shake hands. Cameras don't catch it. No one claps. But that's the real victory. Forgiveness in silence. If you're still watching, this is what Untold Black Struggles is about. Not rage, not revenge, but redemption. Hit subscribe if you believe power can exist without hate. That night, Malik walks his brother home again, the same route, the same park. Only this time it's peaceful, no noise, no taunts, just wind through trees and the sound of kids playing somewhere in the distance. Noah looks up at him. "You think they'll ever bother anyone again?" Malik shakes his head. They met peace. Real peace. That's harder to forget than pain. Because once you've seen control like that, calm, deliberate and unbreakable, it rewires something in you. As they pass the same bench from that night, Malik stops, places a hand on the wooden backrest. For a moment you can almost see his father's shadow sitting there, the Marine who raised a warrior of restraint. He closes his eyes, whispers something only he can hear, then turns and walks home. The park fades behind him, but the message lingers. In every parent who watched, every child who learned, every person who saw what real strength looks like. Because this wasn't about a teenager defending himself. It was about a young black man redefining what power looks like in a world that still tests it.